There's a rule in the underworld that has never once been broken. The dead stay dead. But one man refuses to accept that. He doesn't bring an army. He doesn't bring a weapon. He brings his lyre. Because when the one person he loves is taken from him, suddenly and unfairly, he doesn't grieve the way everyone expects him to. He walks straight into the land of the dead. And now he's standing face to face with the God who rules over every soul that has ever died, asking for just one of them back. And that God says yes. There's just one condition, and whether he keeps it is the whole story. This is Orpheus and Eurydice. Welcome. This is mythology for you. Let's get into it. Orpheus grows up in Thrace, a rugged stretch of land in the north of Greece, the son of Calliope, a muse, and possibly Apollo himself. From the moment he can hold a lyre, people notice something about him that doesn't quite make sense. Give him that instrument, and rivers slow down to listen. Wild animals stop mid-stride and settle. Trees are said to lean in, roots and all, just to hear him better. That lyre has a history of its own. It was first made by the god Hermes out of a hollowed tortoise shell and handed off to Apollo, who eventually passed it down to Orpheus. 7 strings, and some ancient writers matched each one to one of the 7 known planets of the time, as if Orpheus's music was tuned to the actual shape of the universe. Later, he joins Jason and the crew of the Argo, sailing out after the Golden Fleece. When they pass the Sirens, whose singing wrecks ships on the rocks, nobody needs rope or wax in their ears. Orpheus just plays something better, and the danger passes without anyone really noticing how close it was. So by the time the real story starts, Orpheus isn't just talented. He's a man who has never had to fight for anything, because he's never needed to. Orpheus marries a woman named Eurydice, and not much survives about how they met, only that he loved her enough that everything that follows makes sense because of her. Not long after the wedding, Eurydice is walking through a meadow with her friends. A shepherd named Aristaeus is chasing her, wanting her, refusing to take no for an answer. She runs, and in running, she doesn't see the snake in the grass. One bite, and she's gone before anyone can reach her. There's no monster in this part of the story, no curse aimed at her specifically. Just a man who wouldn't leave her alone, and a snake that happened to be exactly where her foot landed. It's one of the few sudden deaths in Greek mythology that feels less like fate and more like bad luck meeting somebody else's bad behavior. This whole episode actually survives because it's tucked inside a completely different story. In the Roman poet Virgil's telling, Aristaeus later loses all his bees to disease, and when he asks the gods why, he's told it's payback for what happened to Eurydice. Orpheus and Eurydice's tragedy sits folded inside a beekeeper's bad year, which says a lot about how connected these old stories really are. Orpheus doesn't hold a funeral and move on. He decides to go get her back. The underworld isn't built to let anyone leave once they've entered. There's a river, the Styx, and a ferryman named Charon who only carries the dead across, and only for a price. Past the river waits Cerberus, a 3-headed dog with exactly one job: keep the living out, keep the dead in. Orpheus reaches the river and doesn't argue with Charon or try to pay him. He just starts playing, and Charon lowers his guard and rows him across like it's nothing. Cerberus is next, 3 heads that usually snarl at anything that moves, and all 3 go still and quiet, the way a restless dog finally settles for the night. Deeper in, past the gate, are the truly punished souls. Sisyphus, endlessly pushing his boulder uphill. Tantalus, standing in water he can never drink, beneath fruit he can never reach. Even they're said to pause mid-punishment, just to listen. Orpheus reaches Hades and Persephone, the king and queen of everything down here, and he doesn't bring an offering. He sings about Eurydice, about losing someone before it was her time, and asks for her back. It's one of the only moments in all of Greek mythology where Hades shows mercy to anyone, and Persephone, who was pulled into this same underworld against her own will years earlier, is often thought to be the one who actually convinces him. She knows exactly what it feels like to be taken somewhere she didn't choose to go. Hades agrees, on one condition. Orpheus walks out first, Eurydice follows behind him, and he cannot look back at her, not once, until they're both fully back in the sunlight. Picture the tunnel sloping upward, Orpheus walking steady at the front, and somewhere behind him, footsteps he can barely make out. He can't hear her breathing, can't hear her voice. He has nothing to prove she's actually back there, only the word of a god not exactly known for kindness. Every step forward is also a step deeper into doubt. What if Hades lied? What if she fell behind somewhere in the dark? What if the sound he thinks he hears isn't even her? They get close enough that light starts touching the walls of the tunnel, close enough that the world above is almost within reach, and that's exactly where Orpheus breaks. He turns around. She's there, right behind him, exactly where she was supposed to be. For 1 second, he actually sees her face. Then she's pulled backward into the dark, and this time, nobody's opening that door again. Orpheus tries to go back down and fix it, but Sharon won't row him across a second time. The deal is done, and broken deals don't get replayed down there. He walks back into the world alone and doesn't really recover. Most versions say he wanders Thrace afterward, avoiding other women entirely, until he crosses paths with a group of maenads, wild followers of the god Dionysus. When he refuses to join their rites, they kill him, tearing him apart in a ritual the Greeks called sparagmos. His head, according to legend, keeps singing as it floats down the river and washes ashore on the island of Lesbos, the same island that later becomes famous for its poets. And his lyre, some say, is placed in the sky by the gods. It's still up there. We call it the constellation Lyra. Centuries later, the poet Rilke imagined Eurydice differently, not desperate to return at all, but calm, almost at peace in the underworld, barely reacting when Orpheus turns around. In that version, it isn't even clear that losing her again is a loss for her. And this story sits at the very start of opera as an art form. The oldest opera we still have in full, Perry's Eurydice from the year 1600, tells this exact story. A few years later, Monteverdi's version, L'Orfeo, became the oldest opera still regularly performed today. That's really what this myth has always been about. Not a monster to defeat, but a test of whether you can trust something you cannot see, right up until the very last step. What do you guys think about this? Was this ever really about trust, Orpheus doubting something he couldn't see or prove? Or was Eurydice never actually walking out of there and the whole condition was just the god's way of letting him go without saying no? Let me know in the comments. See you on the next one.